history. You hear about this and you read about that. I don't want to look at Grumpy Cat. This is how to watch TV. What's that I hear? You hear the Lost finale. It's not your fault that you can't see what we see. This is how to watch TV. On Comeuppance Network. This is how to watch TV. On Comeuppance Network. This is how to watch TV.
Chronologically Lost with Joel and Jenna. My name is Joel, and the red balloon person over here is...
My name is Jenna. You can find all of our social media links at thisishowtowatchtv.com. We're brought to you by Comeuppance Network. I think I missed that. Did I skip that? I'm sorry.
Maybe.
It's been a while since we've done like a good opener.
Yeah. I mean, good. We're wrapping it up here. We got 2 podcasts after this.
And we keep forgetting.
She can't remember the shtick now. She's remembered it for 3 years.
Well, it's our 99th episode.
I mean, it feels like you'd have it down pat
I'm
by now.
not good at remembering things, apparently.
I'm not good at stuff. Okay, fair enough. Episode 99, Epilogue 3. If I look tired, it's because Jenna's an asshole and decided...
Hey, I'm not yawning. Look. Look who's yawning.
She decided to volunteer at a school.
I did. That was really dumb.
And it was really dumb.
I mean, they send out all these text messages like, we need volunteers.
You know how you ignore that? When they do that, reply in all caps, stop. Then they just stop. So...
Yeah.
That's how you can avoid that in the future. Just a pro tip to anybody out there looking to avoid stuff in life, just say no. Just like they always told you about drugs. Just say no.
I know. I just can't.
Right. Just can't say no.
Just
I'm pretty sure that's indifferent.
Okay, yeah, I'll help. How long do I have to be there? What do I have to do? Stand there
if it's
and
any
do nothing?
sort of
Perfect.
selling of stuff.
It was. But nobody wanted to buy it. And I get it.
But that was like the best in school. We're talking about like
all the good stuff
Santa's...
was gone. All the good stuff was gone.
Okay, well, what was it called? Santa's Secret Shop?
Santa's Secret Shop. The SSS.
The SSS. Yeah, I remember that as a kid going to school and loving the shit out of that.
Yeah, I mean, and the things are reasonably priced. It's all like, this is $5, $3, $1, whatever. And so I'm like trying to help this girl buy stuff for her mom. And she's like, no thanks. And we go to the next. How about this? Oh my God, it'd be great. No thanks.
I'm just catching Jen walking through here.
Oh, is that what's happening?
That's what's about to happen. Yeah, she's she's peeking in the window now.
Hey!
And instead of just making it snappy, they're going to debate whether they should walk through or not.
Not sure.
What, Lena?
Huh? Did you lose?
No. Oh.
You made what cut?
What does that mean?
You made the basketball team, or you made first cut?
Well, that's exciting.
Good job making first cut. Okay, we're doing a...
Way to make a cut.
Okay, get out of here. Okay, well, I guess
and then
good
she
job,
walked into the door. So I'm just going to email the school and be like, she's not really
okay, come
the
on.
smartest.
You and the dog out of here. Echo, out. Mr. Echo, get out of here. I should have called her Mrs. Echo.
Yeah, Mrs. Echo.
I should have just, from now on, she's Mrs. Echo. Okay, so episode 99, Epilogue Part 3. Not as riveting as previous installments.
Very boring. I had to pause, rewind, wake up, start over at least 7 times.
Really?
I mean,
I'm sure you were watching it at an unreasonable hour for you, like 6 p.m. or later.
No, actually, I started it last night at 9:35 when I got home from volleyball with Kenzie. And I thought I watched only half of it, but today when I turned it back on, I only had 12 minutes left to watch. So I was like, oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we start with high school gym teacher Locke.
Yeah.
He opens them to chapter 4. Let's see, human reproductive system. He's looking for the teacher's lounge, and Ben is in there, and he's talking about sounding like a broken record about coffee filters. The broken record thing, I feel like, is a metaphor for the island. You know, they keep They keep going back to things that we've heard before. And,
they did a lot.
Making them, there were so many things here where they would make it seem like, just walk through the shot, you crazy person. Just trying to crawl over the bed. I mean, crawl around the other couches in the studio for the studio audience, I mean.
Why do you have, like, a bush hedger on the end of your bed?
Wait a minute. First of all, we're clearly not in my bedroom. We're clearly in a studio. There's a studio audience. We tell them to shh the whole time. They saw you. This is video as well as audio. I mean, it can be audio, but it's mainly video as well.
Okay. Anywho, moving on.
So, Locke wants some tea and says that he's a substitute. So that was where we got the episode title, The Substitute.
I thought it was hilarious that Ben was like bitching about people not making the coffee because I do that all the time at work.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly there's not enough left for a cup of coffee here, so somebody needs to refill it.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous. I hate that.
I thought work coffee was the cups. Or is that just Mom?
Mom and Aunt Linda use the K-cups, and I started using them because now that Andy's not there, apparently nobody thinks it's okay to leave the coffee machine on. So they make a full pot of coffee, pour their coffee, and then turn the burner off so that the coffee is cold when I go in there to drink it. What sense does that make?
Here's my concern with it. Are you saying that Andy would go in and continually turn it back on because other people were turning it off?
No, I'm saying that Andy drank more coffee, so people left it on, and then I think Andy was the one who would pour and then leave like a little bit to burn in the bottom of the thing, and then I would go in behind him and want a cup of coffee. I don't know, but now that Lori and Andy are gone, nobody thinks it's okay to just leave the coffee pot on all day, which makes no sense.
When Liam goes looking for Charlie at the police station, does Liam reappear for the concert? I don't remember him reappearing later on. Like, I don't remember a Drive Shaft reunion, necessarily.
For what concert?
Okay, you don't remember stuff. Okay, well, we're getting there.
Okay.
So Liam is asking about Charlie, and he asks Sawyer, who walks past, and Miles shoves him into a locker and asks if there's something he wants to tell him, and he's like, she opened the wrong door. He's like, what? Why were you in Sydney? Yeah, he wasn't even talking about the thing with Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
And he was supposed to be in Palm Springs, and he's like, he told him he ran his credit card, and he's like, it's none of your business. He's like, it's not, because I'm not your partner anymore.
I know, it was so douchey.
And then Sawyer punches a mirror, and it's like, oh, he's broken.
Is he?
Not in as cool a way as Matt Hardy's broken.
Okay, so was he in Sydney to find Anthony Cooper? Is that what he was still trying to do?
Still same thing. Yeah,
okay.
He obviously hasn't let go of any of that shit.
Yeah, okay.
Even in this version. Even
though he was a cop, do you think he was allowed to take a police gun with him to Sydney when he went?
A police gun?
Mm-hmm. Like, because Australia doesn't allow guns, right? At all? Like, they banned them?
Correct.
So do you think that as a police officer, he was allowed to take one?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No, because if they're police, I don't know if their police officers don't have guns either.
I have no idea. I'll pause while you look that up.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. On it.
And guns and
government. And
Australia.
Oh my God.
Jack's house, he sees a scar from where he was mortally wounded in the mirror. He calls it his appendix scar in this version.
But that was
where Locke stabbed him.
Yes, okay.
He calls his mom asking about the body, or his mom calls asking about the body, and then he asks her about the appendix scar.
That's because he doesn't remember getting his appendix out because he never did.
It didn't happen, right? He's like, I guess I remember.
Yeah, that makes sense, Mom.
I mean, it looks like it. So Jack drives to St. Mary Academy. David is waiting there for him. He's angsty like his dad.
I mean, any kid, if you're more than 3 seconds late, is angsty at the freaking door. Like, oh, you could have been here on time.
Yeah. Punch him in the goddamn face.
Right.
This one doesn't even exist, so punch him right in the face. Jack is trying to talk to his son, and he just walks away listening to music.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, right. You would not have earbuds after that.
Why?
Walking away
because he
playing
walked away?
Yeah, I would have gone and ripped them out of his
okay.
ear and stomped them right there on the ground.
You will have a boring conversation with me right now.
I am in charge of all the boring conversations,
Yes.
so this is going to happen. Well, he just says he just wants to get through the one time a month that they even see each other.
Super shitty.
Yeah. Jack's mom's house. They're looking for his dad's will. Jack refuses a drink. She's like, good for you. Makes a big deal out of it. Like, aren't you? I mean, he could just have a little heartburn or something, you know.
Right.
Ugh. That's why I don't have 2 beers today. A little heartburn, so it's like one's plenty.
I'm ready for dinner. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You still ready for dinner?
I mean, did you?
No, I'm just kidding.
Did somebody poke you in the eye? How is your eye so red?
What do you mean? It's not red.
If you wake up all pussy tomorrow, like, I'm just gonna stay over here.
I do not have pink eye, if that's what you're thinking.
I'm concerned.
I do not have pink eye, if that is what you think I.
I have pink eye.
Jack didn't notice David was really upset at his grandpa's funeral, and
That's because David wasn't there. He didn't exist yet.
Okay, you're right. Communication isn't his or Jack's strong suit. Jack said he was terrified of his father and barely spoke to him, and she's like, well, how do you know he's not terrified of you? He's like, well, what the fuck would he be terrified of? You know, and then his mom finds the will and mentions Claire Littleton, or asks if if his dad has ever mentioned her. Nope. At Jack's house, he brought pizza. David isn't home. He calls him and apologizes on a voicemail. I mean, like, I get that he's trying to reach out to his son here, but it feels like he's like please love me.
Please still be my son.
Please be my friend.
Be my imaginary son.
Yeah, I'll let you play with all my toys if you just be my friend.
You can, like, hang out with your friends and smoke weed all day. It's okay.
Just be my son.
Come home and talk to me.
Just be my kid. So he drives to David's mother's house. There's a spare key under a bunny.
But we don't know who David's mother is.
Yes, we do.
We do? Who's that?
Well, you don't.
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, it's Juliet. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Spoilers. Spare key under a bunny on the porch. I thought that was just another.
Oh, I didn't get the bunny, but yeah, okay.
Jack goes in and finds David's actually messy room. Like, the room at Jack's house was spotless. The bed was made perfectly. Everything was clean. The kid didn't really live there. That was the point.
Oh.
You know, so then when he went in there and it's just shit everywhere, it's like, oh, that looks like a teenager's room. That's lived in. But I mean, yeah, I guess we don't obviously have any experience with divorced parents, but I guess that would be weird. You like go to one place. It'd be like going to grandma's or something and staying there for a couple days. It doesn't really feel like home.
As soon as you leave, if you're only there for one day or one weekend or whatever, as soon as you leave, the parents in there like cleaning that shit because they don't want to look at a messy room for a week,
right,
or a month. Or whatever.
Or he just doesn't even make the mess.
Maybe, because he's not there long enough.
He's just like...
Mackenzie cleans her room and keeps it clean for a weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great for the weekend.
And then
life.
And then life.
Although, like Jeremy said the same thing to me today. He goes, your laundry threw up in Maddie's room. It's like overflowing.
Oh, yeah?
Because I just haven't finished it. It's just terrible. Everywhere.
Happens?
Piles. Sorry.
That was not a yawn. David's learning fancy piano music, and he listens to David's voicemail, and he's performing right now. Then he hears his own message from when he went to Sydney, and it makes Jack cry.
Who still has a home phone with voicemails that don't get deleted?
No, that is an answering machine, actually, not a voicemail. That felt like an answering machine. You know, they only have those for exposition in TV shows where they have to give a bunch of information, but they have no way to make sense of saying it.
I guess.
It's just like, well, let's let them listen to an answering machine. Sawyer makes a frozen dinner, and he's watching Little House. And it's a kid talking about what she would do if both parents were gone. I feel like this was, an allusion to, or, alluding to his parents. The dad says not to spend life worrying. People aren't really gone when they die. We have the good memories to sustain us. And then he gets a little choked up and he goes to Charlotte's room with a big sunflower and a 6-pack of beer. And she's like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
get out.
You're a dick.
Yeah, you blew that. He goes to the Williams Conservatory for the youth concert series, where he walks in right as David finishes playing, and he's really good, like Faraday good on the piano. Faraday Widmore.
Who?
Daniel Faraday
I'm
Widmore.
kidding.
DFW.
DFW.
No big deal. So who is David? Is he like a projection of who Jack wishes he was as a kid? I don't know.
Maybe he's a projection of the relationship that he wishes he had with his dad, but it's still a terrible relationship.
It's strained right now. But I mean, they sort of fix it later in the episode. Or
maybe a projection of who he thought he could have had as a child. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it was definitely a tie-in to Christian Shepherd and his relationship. You know, the way that he was with David. He was trying to not make the same mistakes as his dad, and he needed that.
Well, I think it also had to do with Aaron.
What do you mean?
Like the fact that he didn't raise him when he could have, kind of. No?
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe is right.
Maybe is right. No.
Where are we at? Because this was like a 17-minute episode, so we should already be done because we're at 19 minutes. Kidding.
Sorry. Let's see. So Dogan's son talks to Jack about how good David's going to be.
Yeah.
And then Dogan thinks they're too young to have this kind of pressure. Jack doesn't know anything about his son playing piano, though, so he doesn't really know how much pressure he's under.
Right.
Pierre Chang is running through the accomplishments of Hugo Reyes at the Golden State Natural History Museum. His dog made it into the montage of stuff he owns and operates. His own dog, for real. Like Jorge Garcia's dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his little Chihuahua thing. I follow him on Instagram, so I was aware that was his dog at the time. He's dead now.
The dog is dead?
The dog is dead,
Oh,
yes.
that's really sad.
Did you catch the name of the box company that Locke worked for? It was on a sign in that montage.
No.
Box Squared. Box with a little 2.
Oh, my God.
Everybody loves Hugo, and they're opening up the Hugo Reyes Paleontology wing. So that's...
Gonna tie Charlotte in?
Right. That's what I was thinking. Hugo wins Man of the Year and seems to be happy, and everyone loves him. He says to his mom, we got the Human Fund next Friday.
Is that from Seinfeld?
That's Costanza.
Amazing.
Yeah, the Human Fund. She says women don't love Hugo. That's who.
Aww.
And she wants to set him up with someone named Rosita, I think he said. Or she said. I can't remember. Is that what she said?
That is what she said. Rose
I don't
something.
get the joke.
I don't... What?
That's what she said?
I also don't get the joke.
He said that's what she said.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outside the piano concert, Jack tells David he was great. David is hard on himself for missing a couple notes. And his mom made...
You said hard on. Just wanted to point that out really quick.
He made his mom promise not to tell Jack. I'm not even going to... It was always such a big deal for Jack. He was too into it, is what David said. So he didn't want him to see him fail. And Jack's dad didn't want to see him fail either. He said he didn't have what it takes, and he spent his whole life carrying that around. I like the way he said that, though.
Yeah.
He spent his whole life carrying that around, like in the past. Like, I know that technically he's meaning he got over it now, but it was another kind of like little subtle hint at...
Well, it could have potentially been the fact that his dad was dead, too. So he doesn't have to please his dad anymore.
Right. Yeah, but God, that would almost make it worse, wouldn't it? If he dies before you please him, so to speak. I mean, that sounded awful, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean...
You can never do it now, so it's like, you have to let it go, otherwise that's going to eat you up. So he has to let go. So... He doesn't want to make him feel the way his dad made him feel. He's proud of him no matter what. And he's like, you can't fail in my eyes. I just want to be a part of your life. And they go home and eat pizza. I mean, it was nice.
It sounds like an ideal evening.
What, just go home and eat pizza? We go to Spanish Johnny's, where Hugo is eating a basket of tortilla chips, but
Also
his date
sounds like an ideal evening.
But his date isn't showing up, and then Libby shows up. And he's surprised she doesn't look like a Rosita.
No.
Rosalita, sorry. Rosita's from Walking Dead.
Oh, I thought he just said that he was surprised because he didn't expect her to be so pretty.
Well, that too, but he was just like, oh, you don't look like a Rosalita.
Oh, I guess I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was probably one of the 11 times you rewound it.
Quite possibly.
After falling asleep. So she says she just saw him from across the room, and he'll think she's crazy if she tells him how she knows him. Do you believe two people can be connected, like soulmates? He doesn't remember her yet. And the doctor,
like, no.
Dr. Brooks, comes up and takes her away. The dude from X-Men.
He was in something else recently, though.
Yeah?
Different than X-Men. Was he
Okay.
in Westworld or Sense8? Sense8, no?
I don't think so. Unless it was season 2 or on, because I didn't watch that.
He wasn't like the... Oh, no. He looks kind of like the creepy guy that was like the guy hunting them down in Sense8.
I don't know.
Similar. Anyway.
So she tells him that she meant everything she said, and he goes outside and sees her getting loaded into a Santa Rosa van. Then he goes and depressed eats at Mr. Cluck's. He gets a bucket of chicken. Desmond's looking at him from across the room, and he's like, what?
So, I mean, does Desmond remember everything at this
Yes.
point? And he's going around trying to get other people to remember?
Correct.
Okay.
He's trying to wake them up. Again, this
Into their death.
This
Okay.
stuff is far more compelling with the context of what Desmond is going through. If we just saw his stuff, like where when he's flashing back, and you know what I mean?
Did he flash to his death more than one time? Because I thought it was only the one time that he touched Penny.
It's definitely not. I don't remember.
It's not only that time.
No, I don't know, because I know he went there.
I don't see another time where he's flashing that looks like he's actually going into the past.
Right.
So,
But once he's awake there, he is. But well, he does flash back, because at some point he goes to the island when he gets lowered down into the source by Jack, and he tells him none of this matters. I like how you stifled that so much your face was shaking.
I'm so
Your
tired.
lips.
Trying to wake up. Oh, yeah. So when he was lowering down into the light, and when he was in the little box with all the electromagnetism were the two
Right.
times that he flashed to the future. But we must have only seen one of the times that he
Well, no,
flashed
it didn't.
backwards.
He didn't flash to his afterlife when he went down into the light. He thought he was going to.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
I was just saying
maybe
he
it
was
just the
telling
only
Jack
time
about
then.
it.
The only time would have been when he was in the chair in the electromagnetism.
So all this shit happened in that one flash?
No.
That's the only time he flashed. So all of this after death stuff happened to him then. No, because he flashed back
I don't think
when he was talking to Penny.
It was only when he was talking to Penny, and when he fainted, and then he came back.
Right, but he got there to begin with, and then he came out of it, and then he went back into it.
So maybe he flashed there before he showed up at the stadium.
Okay.
And then when he touched her, he went back because she's his constant. When he touched her, he went back to being in a chair and he was alive. And then he woke up in his death after. I don't know. I mean, that's all I can.
That all sounds pretty good. No.
It sounds great. It's freaking awesome. We're going to stick with that.
So he remembers Hurley from the flight. He's not impressed. He's depressed. And he met a crazy chick on a blind date, and she told him that they already knew each other, and he's like, yeah, I totally would have remembered her. And Desmond's like, did you believe her? And he's, yeah, you know. He says to go with his gut, and then he finds out. He's like, find out where she thinks she knows you from. And then his order is number 42. At high school.
You didn't hear them call 41 and see that coming?
Oh, they called 37, and I saw it coming.
Oh, I didn't
When
hear
he
37.
first got in there, they were like 37, 38, And I'm like, oh, let's get into 42.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought what they were doing
heard
was
41.
not doing... I thought they were going to specifically make his like number 30 something so that it wasn't
They're
one
going
of
to be
the
like
numbers.
3,
Because he's lucky now.
7,
so I thought it wasn't going to be that.
14, 15, like all the numbers that are one
22,
before.
41. Yeah. At the high school. And it was on this island that everything became clear, Ben says. And then he writes Elba on the island. He says it's where Napoleon faced his greatest test. He lost his power, but kept his title, and he might as well have been dead. So all that stuff applies to everything here. It applies to Ben, too. He could have stayed on the island and kept his title, but it would have meant nothing after Jacob died and all that shit. He could have been the leader of the others or whatever, but it wouldn't have meant anything because he lost everything that made it a thing. Well, once Alex died.
Well, now he's a teacher, so it doesn't really matter. So
right. Principal needs Linus to supervise detention. He was supposed to be hosting
Principal
History
douchebag.
Club.
What was he in the show? I don't remember him.
I don't think he was anything in the show.
Why would he have been in the
He's
afterlife?
just the principal.
Everybody else was tied in.
Not everybody.
Who else was not tied in?
Let's see. Who else was not tied in?
Other than the son that doesn't exist.
Other people in the background at Santa Rosa.
Yeah, but he's like a prominent character.
It was somebody that Ben was trying to pull the bullshit that he did in his regular life,
So he should have been like a Dharma Initiative person or somebody that we've seen in the past.
But then we would have known the dynamic. And right here, we're not even... All we're finding out is that Ben's getting shit on. And is this Ben the same Ben from the island that's going to stand up for himself and...
No, he's a pain in the ass.
Well, but he did stand up for himself. He tried to pull the same blackmail that he usually does, but it doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
Arst is bitching, and Ben's talking about taking care of the kids being important, and he refuses to give up. And Locke's like, "Well, why don't you be principal?" And he's like, "Who's gonna listen to me?" And he's like, "I'll listen to you." It's like if the man in charge doesn't care about this place, then maybe it's time for a change. He needs a new man in charge.
Yeah, was that from the A New Man in Charge episode? Okay, because when he said that, I was like,
Right. Yeah, no, that my ears perked up at that too. So at Santa Rosa, he goes to talk to the doctor, and he's like, blah, blah, blah. Libby's not healthy. You shouldn't talk to her. And then he's like, what if I give you $100,000? And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And then Libby comes in to meet him. You notice there was no Leonard in the rec room. 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Leonard guy.
Or the guy that Hurley imagined all the time.
Dave.
His friend, yeah.
Yeah. That would have been great if he had walked in and Dave was in the background just hanging out, just as a real patient.
Yeah.
She asks if he remembered, and he's like, no, but where do you think you know me from? And she's like, I was watching TV and one of your commercials came on, and she got the flashes of remembering her old life, or as she called it, another life.
Yeah.
She remembers the plane crash on the island and that they liked each other. She thinks she remembers him being at Santa Rosa as well, and if he remembered her, and she starts like welling up. She's just desperate to not be crazy, and he's sorry, and he commends her guts. Like, I wouldn't have the balls to come talk to you, and you just walked up to some random person that you thought you knew, and she's like, you're doing just fine. And he asks if she can leave. Yeah, she's there voluntarily. So
yeah.
Do you want to go on a date? She's like, yeah.
That was because her husband died, so, right? That's why she was there?
In real life, yes.
So why is she there now?
Because you heard what she said. I feel like I had been here before. She felt like she had been there before, meaning in her previous life, which she had, yes. I don't know why she's here this time. Maybe because of the thing with Hurley.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said she was feeling that before the meal.
I checked myself in because of you.
Yeah, basically. We go to Ben's dad's house.
Oh, yeah.
He stares at his dad's microwave dinner, and his dad is still a pain in the ass.
Total pain.
Ben's pissed about his work situation, and he changes his dad's oxygen tank. He feels like more of a loser than the kids in detention. His dad wanted a better life for him. That's why he signed him up for the Dharma Initiative and took him to the island.
So then they left when? After the bomb?
77. Yeah, they would have left on the sub.
Yeah.
When everybody else was bailing out of there. How different their lives would have been if they stayed. Who knows what you would have become?
Some creepo.
Uh-huh. And then, ironically,
that stole a pregnant lady's baby.
But did you notice what he ended up doing for him? He gave him oxygen. He helped him to breathe. The opposite of killing him.
Oh, that's true.
The nerve gas or whatever it was. Alex shows up at the door, and Ben had to blow off History Club because he was in detention all week. And she's like, "What'd you do?" It was a cute little banter, whatever.
Yes.
He offers to tutor her at 7 a.m. in the library, and she's like, "You're the best, Dr. Linus.
Thanks so much. I love you."
He's reading, well, when they get there, it says on the page, East India Trading Company, and a ship like the Black Rock. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was kind of cool. He's quizzing her, and she thinks this test is her entire life. She's like, "Look, my mom works 2 jobs just to pay the rent, and... we can't afford college." And he's like, "Look, you're one of the brightest students I've ever had. I have no worries about your future." Well, that's good for you. That's not your future.
Yeah.
Principal Reynolds went to the school she wants to go to, and she calls him a pervert. He's like, "What?" He gets all serious.
Did he touch you?
Like, did he touch you here? Just starts like touching her.
Did he touch you right there?
Grab him anywhere. Just grab him by the... So she says she was in the nurse's office one day and she fell asleep and then woke up after school was over. And who does that?
And how was that not on Snapchat? I get that Snapchat didn't exist in 2009 or whatever. This
10.
was 10? Okay.
Yeah. But, technically 4 if we're going back to... Yeah, it's 2004. That's why. But here's the part that's unrealistic.
MySpace. I can't believe this wasn't on MySpace.
Here's the part that's unrealistic to me. No kid goes to the nurse's office and isn't walking out of there the second class is done or school is over.
She fell asleep, she said.
Bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's going to be like, "You know what? I'm not feeling good in like 6 hours.
I'm just going to take a nap.
Go take a nap. Oh, no, I woke up and it's 5 p.m. Never happens. You'd be out. You'd set an alarm, something.
No, because the nurse would be responsible enough to be like, hey, get the fuck out.
Instead, the nurse is in the other room getting hayed. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, it was in the room where the kids give hearing tests. I thought that was kind of funny. At the high school, Arst and Linus discuss accessing a faculty email account. He wants to spy on the nurse, basically, nurse and the principal. He knows he's making a play for the big job, and he wants a good parking spot. That's his concern.
So ridiculous.
Yep.
I want the one without all the bird shit, but like with the shade.
He also wants aprons and lab equipment made in this decade. And he's like, "You're a real killer." I mean, that was the most forced line of the entire series.
It was bad.
You know what, Linus? I mistook you from that sweater vest. You're a real killer. And nobody says that shit. It was so lame and forced. Yes, he's a killer. We know that. So Ben goes to the principal's office, and he gives him the correspondence, points out stuff that happened on school property, tells him he wants the job. He's like, "Look, you can resign for personal reasons and recommend hiring me. And because your reputation's so good, they'll take your recommendation."
Yeah.
And then he reads Linus an email. It's from Alexandra Russo. He will torture her if he goes through with this. And is the job/power that important to Dr. Linus? I mean...
Yes. It would have been before.
You're right. It would have been. But I think, obviously, he's getting to make the choice between Alex and power again.
Yeah.
Where last time he made that choice, and it did not go so well. At the beach, Hugo...
What does he do?
Huh? Hugo and Libby go on a date, and he's like, "I brought cheese because everybody likes cheese."
But I bought like all the cheese.
All
like,
of the kinds.
I bought the cheese factory. It's called Cheese Squared.
It's called Cheese Sliced. Let's see. So Libby says something is off. This is so familiar. Almost like a date we never had.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because you were murdered.
I was so...
Because you were an alcoholic in Hawaii.
I was so angry at them not tying up the Libby loose end in like season 4 and 5. I'm like, if she doesn't come back, in some form. I'm going to be furious. And like, it was like Jeremy would always be like, well, how does it make sense for her to come back? I'm so glad they did this, but that was a bit cheesy.
It was really cheesy.
It's almost like I went to get blankets and then
so
Michael
weird.
shot me in the hatch, and then you found out later, but not right away.
And now I'm pregnant. I don't even know how that happened.
Now I'm pregnant.
I mean,
now I'm pregnant with your baby, Hurley. He's like, Hurley? I go by Hugo now.
Who?
He's like, I don't go by Hurley in this life. I mean, who's Hurley?
I go by Hugo.
I go by Hugo. Hugo. So she asks why he wants to be with her, because she's crazy. And he's like, he asks her the same thing. Well, why do you want to be with me? And she's like, I like you, you know? And he says, yeah, but you like me because you're like crazy. And then she kisses him and he starts to remember she's not crazy. And then Desmond the perv looks on from the car, pushes up his glasses and drives away. I mean, fuck off. He followed them to the beach. And since when?
Why? But why does he care so much if they remember?
Because he's trying to help his friends. He loves them. And they're wandering around in this fake reality where it's not real. And he wants to help them move on.
But it's an okay reality, so why can't they just stay there?
But it's a coping mechanism, and it's helping them find each other, and he's the catalyst for helping them find each other. Who the fuck can pull up to the beach and park somewhere in your car and see the water? That's not realistic.
There are a few beaches around here like that. You just have to pay to get to the parking lots. We just don't go to them because they're not free.
I'll make sure to put in the bit of me doing the John Locke thing where the don't tell me what I can't do. At the end
I say that to Jeremy a lot.
What? Don't ever?
Don't tell me what I can't do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like every time I laugh. Every time I say it.
Oh, every time you laugh you say it? Or
every time I say it, I laugh.
Oh, okay. Well, those are two different things. That would have been weird if you said that every time you laughed. Don't tell me what I can't do.
This is how to watch TV.
See you later.
So true.
All these memories in my mind, my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drinker.